next speaker is actually one that's very important because we have a woman in our panel. So we're going to invite Miss Linda Williams on stage. She's an economic development specialist for the Small Business Administration, and previously she has served as a loan specialist and lenders relations specialist. So she has a lot of great knowledge that she wants to share with you all. So can we have Miss Ratnagaru give her a bouquet?
Yes, my name is Linda Williams. I'm with the U.S. Small Business Administration. Many of you have probably heard of SBA. Probably if you've heard of us, you think of a loan. That's what I always thought of. If you've got a business, you've got to go to SBA and you've got to get a loan. Let me tell you a little bit about that. Yes, I do have a background in the lending. I'm right now economic development specialist, but that includes lending too. I talk about lending to potential businesses and existing businesses, but I talk about a lot of our other services as well. Are most of you in this room contemplating starting a restaurant, or any of you already in business in a restaurant? You're contemplating it, right? You're in your formation stages. Okay, that's what I thought. I wanted to be sure. You're not really quite ready to go to a lender and ask for money. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about all of our programs. Number one, I want you to have this resource guide. This is the best thing that I could give you from SBA right here. And it's a lot of information, but it is organized into components, and I'll tell you about those real quickly. Who does not have one of these? I want to hand one to you right now. Okay, let me get those going. They're right there. There's some of my business cards too if you want to follow up with me. If you'd like any further information, I'll be happy to provide that link for you. Let me tell you a little bit about the Small Business Administration. We were founded in 1953 under Dwight D. Eisenhower as an agency to help start and grow businesses. And today, that's still our mission and our goal. We do things a little bit differently. We're very leveraged these days, which is something you want to be as a business. You'll become familiar with the term of leveraging. But what we do is we have 2,000 employees. We're one of the smallest agencies in the whole country. But everybody's heard of us. We have one of the biggest footprints in the whole country, and that's because that we work with our partners to provide you some help. What you want to do, you probably heard the term business plan out there. When people come to our doors, we do have our doors open. If you want to come in and talk to one of us, you may do that. We're likely to refer you to one of our resource partners. But usually if we ask them, okay, so you're going to start this business and you've got your business plan together, I'd say about 80% of the time what I've heard is, oh, I've got a plan, it's in my head. Well, that comes with your passion. After you have your passion, then you're going to get your business plan. That kind of takes the fun out of it just for a minute, but it's really so important for you, and it's not something that you develop and you set aside and then you've got one of those, so you're going to go on to everything else. A business plan is something that you're going to continue to come back to and to update and to keep yourself on target, and your business plan will change as your business changes. So at any rate, so how do you get this business plan? Where do you go for that? And you do want something in writing. Does it have to be 30 pages long? No, it depends on who your audience is for that. You should have a short one for a lender and a longer one for probably everybody else, but you need to have it something in writing. Where do you go for that? Well, that brings up one of our, actually it's our biggest area of service that we provide is the counseling. A free consultant, free. Did you hear that? Free. It is invaluable for you to go and get that help as you're setting up your business. Will they write your business plan for you? Or counseling partners? No, they won't, but they'll help you write your own business plan. If you already have a business plan, they'll take a look and help you with that. We have two major, well, let me tell you real quickly about this guide so you can find all these resources that I'm talking about today. You'll find if you'll take this guide and you'll thumb through it like this, just kind of go like this, you'll see some tabs on it. Do you see the counseling? The first one you'll come to is counseling. You'll also see one on contracting that's all about the money. You'll want to go to that one for sure. And then you'll see about contracting, and that's something the government is the largest provider of largest purchaser of goods and services in the world. And if you want to have a piece of the pie as a small business, we can talk to you about government contracting and how you look at that as a potential market for your business. The other area that we provide, the last one in there, is called disaster. I was a disaster loan officer for 12 years before jumping over on the regular SBA side. And if there's anything that I can tell you about your business, about disaster planning and all that, everybody, they don't want to have a disaster, and most businesses will have a disaster plan, meaning they know that they're going to operate off-site. They don't have a place in mind, though, is what happens. And if you want to know, especially for a restaurant, if something were to happen, we're talking not just floods, not just hurricanes, we're talking, it could be a man-made disaster, it could be terrorist, it could be drought, it could be all kinds of things that would make it to where a person that wants to go to the restaurant can't get to your restaurant right now. There's no highways in place. It might be because of the flood or the tornado or the hurricane or whatever. But at any rate, you're sitting there with your business and you got your doors open and you've got bills to pay, and you will continue to have bills to pay, but you don't have a way to do that. One way to help you as you're setting up your business, if I could tell you one thing that'll help you not to need the disaster loan program, it's going to be business interruption insurance. I want you to remember that. If you don't remember anything else, it's not incredibly expensive, but it's something that I just want to plant that seed for you so you don't need one of our loan officers later on when there's a declared disaster. Okay, well, let's back up a little bit to counseling. I was talking to you about counseling. We have two major types of counseling programs in this area. Both of them are free. There may be a few charges if you're getting into some of their educational components, but one of them is called SCORE. Has anyone heard of SCORE? Good. The SCORE it used to stand for Service Corps of Retired Executives. And it was started by a couple of businessmen that retired from a very large corporation. They want to stay involved to help businesses. And so they started this network it was in the 50s, and it's now nationwide. And you've got a very big chapter out of Dallas, and it goes everywhere from here up to into Farmers Branch, into Denton, into all over the place for Dallas. Then we also have that also in Fort Worth. Are any of you thinking about opening a business in Tarrant County, or is it primarily in Dallas County? Okay. Dallas, okay. Well, you will see if you go to that counseling, I think that it starts around page 42, the counseling section. Let's see if it does. I just transferred, by the way, back to Dallas-Fort Worth area from Philadelphia. I was up there with this accent, and I'd always be asked, well, where are you from? And I'd have to make people guess and all this, but I would never, ever mention the word Dallas in Philadelphia, which I am so glad to be back that I can say Dallas. Now, I have to say, we're very nice about it here. If you said Philadelphia here, we wouldn't, have a contract on your life or anything like that. But I was warned that, hey, they really, really don't like Dallas there. So at any rate, so I'm back here and I can say Dallas, and I love Dallas. And I even like the Cowboys a little bit, but I got to where I'd never even brought that up while I was up in Philadelphia. But at any rate, okay, so has anybody found the counseling section? What page?
It's on page 14.
14, I wasn't even close. 14, you'll see that. You'll see, if you'll go through there, you will see that there are resources all over. This guide is for the Northeast Central Texas area. So you'll see the Dallas chapter is listed, and you'll see a lot of other locations. You'll see a lot of locations throughout Dallas County. So what you want to do is call them up. You want to ask for an appointment. You need to understand it might take them 2 days to call you back. It's all volunteer over there. Well worth the program. The other program is called the Small Business Development Center, and those are located on normally they're on different college campuses. There's one over at the Bill J. Priest Center. There's one in Tarrant County over at Tarrant County College, but they're funded a third by SBA, a third by the college, and then a third by the local chambers of commerce. And they really can help you get into a lot of technical assistance, including marketing research. Marketing research is especially important if you're opening your business and it's a restaurant, because you need to have a competitive analysis of what's available in the area and that kind of thing. So we can help you with that. Now, you know where to go for the free counseling. Now, let's talk a little bit about money. Money is so important. A lot of people have enough money. A lot of people that open their businesses, actually most, don't do it with a loan. They look at their friends and their families, and that's how they usually get started. But most businesses that fail, do you want to know why they fail? The ones that fail early on, you want to know what it is? Liquidity. They don't have the capital. They had enough money to open their business. They did not have enough money to keep the doors open. Is that true? Does that happen in the restaurant business? Because you have, in the restaurant business, you have people that you have to pay all the time. You have payroll, right? And if you can't meet the payroll, you're in big trouble. So you don't want to get to that point. You want to think ahead. You want to reach out. If you know a banker, it's good to talk to a banker. You just met someone in this room that can help you out in financing. Do you need an SBA loan? Let's think about that a minute. An SBA loan, you may not know this, but an SBA loan is a loan of last resort. Did you know that? I didn't know that. I learned a few things. A bank, to make a regular SBA loan, we're talking 7A loan program is what you usually think about. That's our big flagship program. The lender has to say that this is a loan that they wouldn't make otherwise, but because of the guarantee, they're going to think about making the loan to you. We no longer make loans directly, except for in the disaster loan program. We do it through various loan programs. Most of them are your regular lenders that want to participate with us, and we provide a guarantee so that they're more inclined to make that loan. Most of them in the 7A loan program, it's going to be about an 85% guarantee. Is there a fee for the guarantee? Yes, it's like going out and getting an FHA loan. There's a fee for that. You pay for that. There's an extra premium that you pay for that mortgage insurance. Do you have to pay that loan? If something happens, yes, you still have to pay. The U.S. government will come for you. They will attach to your assets if you have a loan that you haven't paid and they haven't worked out any other kind of deal with you, and it's sitting out there, including student loans. So it is an SBA loan is one that you definitely do want to pay back. I think that most people that take out a loan do intend to pay back loans, and we know that. We know that small businesses really need the funds, and so that's why we put that money out there. Why do you think the lender would not make the loan to start with on a small business? Why would you think that? Risk. Small business is very risky. Startup business is extremely risky. Some banks don't want to make loans to restaurants. Let's just face it. That's a pretty risky loan. A lot of people want to have a restaurant. Have you heard do you ever watch America's Got Talent? You ever watch that show? I have to admit, I watched that show. And there's a little girl that stood up there last week. She was a hit. She's like 9 years old. She looks like she's 7. And she was a comedian. And she was talking about being a babysitter. And she said, yeah, okay, you want me to be your babysitter? She says, okay, sure, I'll be your babysitter. What kind of experience do I have? Well, I was a baby. That's what she said. I was a baby. And she went on. She was hilarious. But that's something to think about. When you're thinking about starting a restaurant, and especially, you may need to talk to a lender at some point. They're going to ask you, what experience do you have in a restaurant? And it's got to be more than, I love Indian food. It's got to be more than that. But you have to have the passion. You can't do it without the passion. You got to have that. But they're going to look at what is your background, and they'll look at, have you worked at a restaurant? You may want to go work at a restaurant to learn a little bit about it before you start that. You heard the word a franchise earlier. That might be the way to go if you don't have any direct experience in a restaurant. That franchise kind of backs you up. They've got it carved out. What would the term for that be? You were talking about it in your, where it's all carved out, and it's you didn't talk about franchises, but you talked about a style of restaurant where it's formulary. Did you say formulary? Yeah, formulary. Well, franchise is a little bit of formulary, wouldn't you say? A lot of formulary. We do fund franchises through the SBA loan programs. It depends on how much control they have on operating that business, but that might be something that you want to think about for that. Okay, so let's talk about how do you get in front of a lender. Most of you have never asked for money to start a business, so how do you get in front of a lender? I wanted to tell you about something. It's got a lot of tools on there. It's got some online trainings, SBA.gov. We have a link on there that's called LINC, L-I-N-C. It's got a very long meaning behind this acronym, but basically you go online, go to SBA.gov, you'll see the link, you click on it, and you fill out a little bit of information about your business or about your plans for the business, and that shoots out to all of the lenders that want to participate, and within 3 days you'll get a response from a lender if they're interested, and if not, they're probably going to refer you to one of our resource partners. But I encourage you to take advantage of that. Let me talk just very briefly, and by the way, I can do another presentation totally on access to capital at any time. If you want to have me back, I'll be happy to do that, so you can get into the nuts and bolts of it. But basically, when you go for a business loan, I just want to tell you, it's not like any other kind of loan at any regular bank. It's not like who's handling your auto loans and what are your rates. It's not that. It's a whole different, type of ball game. But you have to think like a lender. And what lenders look at, you're part of the lender's business. They want to know, are you going to pay the loan back? When can you start paying me back? And how assured am I that you will pay me back? So you want to think in those terms. Do they look at credit? Yes, they look at credit. Is that all that they look at? No, that's not all that they look at. They look at, well, what other income stream do you have that you might be able to look at in paying this back? Are you, or have you paid back other debts that you had? All of those things. Just be ready. You kind of have to think like that and be ready for what those answers are. And again, we can do a whole workshop just on that. But basically, the SBA loan program is there. The primary reason that a lender will go with consider an SBA loan, and no, just because they're an SBA lender does not mean that they have to make SBA loans. But one of the major reasons is collateral shortfall, and it's also startup businesses, and also it could be industry, which could be restaurant. So that all those things kind of dovetail into maybe you would be an SBA loan. So we'd love to do that full workshop for you. It takes about an hour and a half. I'd love to come out and do that. We do need to have at least 5 to 10 people there. It looks like I don't think crowds are something you have to worry about here. You have a pretty good turnout on crowds. So at any rate, that's a little bit about our capital program. I'll be able to answer a lot more information a little bit later on when we're on the panel. But what I'm real impressed with on your program for today is that you have businesses that have had SBA loans, and you have business people that have made SBA loans here, and those are the people you want to really get to know. I can tell you how to link up and get on the computer and fill out some information, but you've got some live bodies in here, and they're ready to help you. So I really encourage you to reach out and to reach out to those counseling partners. I think that it's so important to do that. All right, how did I do on time? Am I about to the end of the time? Okay, so, yes.
Can you ask people to raise their hands so we can with them video just mentioned?
Yes, those in the room that can make loans to small businesses, who would that be? I think that was the speaker that was just on ahead of me, Simone. Okay, and any question? Anybody that's had an SBA loan that can talk about the process? Okay. Huh? He didn't raise his hand, but I was hoping that he would. I was about to go back. Wow, what was I hearing earlier? I'm not sure. No, we know about him, but I can't tell you about him, but he can tell you about him because we do have some confidentiality with our loans. So looks like it was one of those that I worked at our liquidation center shortly after the 2008 time period. We saw a lot of restaurants that did succumb to the economy, but I don't think we saw any of yours. So that's sounds like we won't see him anytime soon. I think he's on fire would be the word. So, okay, anybody else have any? I think we're doing the questions later though, right? Yes. Okay. All righty, and what a master of ceremonies we have here. She's just awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Give her a round of applause.